Hey y'all, welcome to Crime Mentality. This is your girl Key back with a whole nother message. Today we are talking about the emotionally absent father. Okay, emotionally absent fathers, they have a difficult time showing their emotion or expressing their love or showing affection toward their daughter. This is where the father, he shows no interest or no approval or no acknowledgement of the daughter. And this can have a huge negative effect on the mental well-being as well as her emotional well-being, because she feels rejected. She doesn't feel enough. She doesn't feel validated. She has a sense of mistrust in that relationship. And this causes her to go out into the world and look for these type of relationships that are going to validate her, that are going to accept her, that are going to acknowledge her and her feelings, which causes people to play a role. Because if my daddy didn't show me how to deal with men, this is going to play a negative effect too in every relationship that I have, professionally and relationally, like with a spouse or anything, because my daddy was supposed to teach me how to deal with men. So if I don't know how to deal with men and I have to deal with men in the outside world, we'll be doing it in the wrong way. We'll be doing it ignorantly. So it's like we open ourselves up to predators. We open ourselves up to people who, manipulators, basically. We open ourselves up to a lot of manipulators because we don't get that emotional need filled, basically. And it's very big in the Black community because we aren't educating ourselves to come up to the level of intelligence, emotional intelligence, to be able to choose better relationships for ourselves, because these relationships are going to be a huge part in our kids' lives. So that's why we have to come up to the level of emotional intelligence that we need to be able to find the right relationships in order to break this generational cycle, break this the defective cycle. It causes the attention-seeking behavior in women. It causes promiscuity in women. It causes her to look to date older men. And I have 5 things that you can use to be able to help you recover from daddy issues. And you should do this with a therapist, or I would say a therapist, honestly, a therapist or a life coach. 1, figure out what type of father you have, because there are 6 types of fathers. There are the disapproving father, there is the mentally ill father, there is the substance abusing father, there is the abusive father, there is the unrelatable father, and there is the absent father. And I had the absent father. So like, I had an instance one time. I went to my dad and I gave him a hug, and I was crying and crying and crying. I was really upset. And he hugged me, but it was like this. It was like one of the driest hugs that I had ever had. So I got off him because I felt like it was emotionally awkward for him. So I felt like I'm making him uncomfortable. So I backed off, and and I just stood there and we still just went to talking. And I talked about whatever that was bothering me, whatever, and he pretty much said that he couldn't help me with it. He straight up told me, this is something I can't help you with. And this was because he's emotionally not available to be able to help me with it. But he's not emotionally intelligent on the level that I needed him to be. So I had to draw strength from myself. I had to draw strength and realize that I got to save me. Like, I can't keep looking for daddy to save me. The time that he wasn't there in my life, I have to just admit to myself that time is gone, accept with myself that time is gone, and the emotional pain and trauma that I'm dealing with now, only God can help me with. So I had to take these dysfunctional emotions, everything that I can't use, all of this stuff I can't use going into my destiny. So I had to take all of these negative feelings and go take them back to the feet of God and ask God to help me with it. God, help me with these daddy issues. Now that my daddy is presently in my life, He is emotionally unavailable. And I have to accept that. But I had to look at it, objectively and not look at it so emotionally. He is that way because he didn't have that. He didn't have somebody to hug him and tell him it was going to be okay. He didn't have a mama in his life to be able to nurture that in him. He didn't have that. So, like I said, I got these 5 points that I will tell you about. Figure out which type of father you have. I identified which father that I had was the absent father. 2, recall how you were treated. I had to go back into those negative feelings that I had, and I felt like I was rejected. I had to deal with all that negativity. I had to deal with how I felt. I had to allow myself to feel that. 3, I had to recognize the coping. Number 3 is to recognize what coping mechanisms you use and then that help you survive back then. What helped me survive that back then was my creativity, was me writing, journaling. What helped me back then was me talking to God, and I replaced what I didn't have with my Heavenly Father. That's how I got through, is talking to God. That's how I got through, y'all. Prayer and talking to Him. 4, consider which coping mechanisms are still active in your life today. The coping mechanism that I realized that are active is my relationship with God. That is active. That's just the only thing I know. That is the only thing I know how to do. I feel like it's have my relationship with God, like have a solid foundation with Him. 5, come up with ways and things to help you behave in the direction that you want to go. Okay, I started writing out my goals. I started writing out my goals and the things that I wanted for myself and the things that I wanted for my son. I had to stop living in the past, and I know it's not easy. It's not easy, y'all. I ain't gonna tell y'all. I'm not just saying like it's just so easy. It's not easy to just stop living in the past. I had to go into my journal and pray and say, God, help me let this go. God, help me become emotionally intelligent where I don't have to put this pressure on my dad and make him feel guilty for where I feel like he fell short at. I had to allow forgiveness to come into my heart. I had to release that resentment and allow his forgiveness to come in my heart. So that way he can teach me how to deal with these people on this earth that he made. He know how to deal with all these people. So y'all, that is the video. Like I said, it's about just emotionally absent fathers. We got to really just accept that our parents don't have what we need. We got to quit putting that pressure on them to be able to pull from them. It's like squeezing blood from a turnip. You can't do that. You can't squeeze blood from a turnip because you're just not there. You're just not going to get it. You're not going to get that out of there. So deal with your emotions with God. Put that pressure on God because He can handle it. That's what He said. Cast all your cares on me because He cares. He truly cares. Y'all have a blessed day. I pray that this was helpful in some type of way to you. I pray it was helpful. It's just educational purposes anyway. Thank y'all for listening.